Defensive lines rarely collapse from kinetic force alone. In the Kamyanske sector, a catastrophic breach originated not in a massive bombardment, but in a quiet, systemic decay of leadership. This dynamic is now reshaping the Zaporizhzhia flank, where internal Russian failures have created a critical opening in what should be a heavily fortified line. An intercepted radio call reveals the catalyst. 10 Russian soldiers at a forward observation post died from mass alcohol poisoning. The response from the Russian network was telling. Soldiers discussed stacking the bodies and covering them with sleeping bags, leaving the dead to mimic the appearance of an active, manned position. This incident highlights a breakdown in command and control, a failure of oversight that left a key observation point effectively unmanned and unmonitored for days. While mass poisoning is a tactical tragedy, it only becomes an operational disaster when the command structure stops tracking the status of its own front line. The compromised post in Kamyanske acted as eyes for the local Russian command. Radio contact was severed for 6 days. Despite total silence, no alarm was raised. This negligence left the sector blind, with commanders unable to verify if the position was even still manned. The Russian army appears to treat prolonged communication blackouts as routine, allowing critical failures to persist as administrative noise rather than tactical emergencies. Across the line, Ukrainian forces maintain an active intelligence-gathering loop, searching for exactly this type of systemic silence. Ukrainian reconnaissance identified the unmonitored sector, noting the absence of radio traffic and the lack of response to localized probes. By failing to monitor a severed node, the Russian command converted a static defense into an unmonitored corridor for Ukrainian exploitation. Ukraine capitalized on this gap by initiating a sequence of preparatory strikes, isolating the sector before a single soldier stepped forward. These shaping operations focused on neutralizing Russian intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets to ensure the coming assault remained undetected. The first strike targeted a Russian drone hub in Pashib, destroying the operator's control site. This stripped the sector of aerial eyes, preventing detection of Ukrainian movements. Simultaneously, drones hit radio antennas near Stopatov, severing lateral communication lines and deeply degrading Russian coordination. These tactical strikes isolated the frontline troops. Commanders could no longer relay orders, and adjacent units were left unable to support one another. Ukrainian artillery then focused on Malish-Kurbaki, pinning down local Russian reserves and preventing them from reinforcing the Kamyanske flank. Through these sequenced strikes, the Russian flank was deafened, blinded, and electronically severed before the ground assault even began. With the Russian network disrupted, the Ukrainian 153rd Mechanized Brigade moved into the sector to anchor the eastern flank for the primary push. The assault was led by elite units, including special forces from the main intelligence directorate and the International Legion. These units specialize in the complex clearing operations required for the wooded and urban terrain surrounding the Stepnohirsk axis. Ukrainian ground units executed a covert, silent approach toward the isolated Russian positions, supported by localized tactical drone reconnaissance overhead. Ukrainian infantry launched a clearing operation against Russian dugouts in the wooded areas east of Kamyanske, moving entirely under the radar of the blinded command. The defense collapsed quickly. The Russian airborne paratroopers were either eliminated in their dugouts or surrendered to the overwhelming assault. Elite airborne paratroopers collapsed under pressure here, deprived of the ISR and command support required to coordinate a defense. Even specialized infantry becomes ineffective when abandoned by its command network and systematically isolated by an adversary. On the operational map, this breach has altered the geography of the Zaporizhzhia front, allowing Ukrainian forces to push into the Kamyanske gap. This advance narrows the maneuver space for remaining Russian forces, placing their primary eastern logistics route under threat of being cut off. Russian forces now face a simultaneous crisis, containing Ukrainian Special Operations units infiltrating the rear while scrambling to prevent a total logistical collapse. The physical destruction at the site reflects the success of Ukrainian shaping operations against a blind and uncoordinated adversary. While the physical gap was created by the indiscipline of frontline troops, the decay of the command structure allowed it to be exploited. Chronic communication failures have moved beyond administrative friction, now actively compromising the physical integrity of the Russian defensive line. Tactical positions fail when commanders stop monitoring them, making C2 integrity the vital factor in battlefield survival.